Hey, how's it going? So I have some cards. Excuse me. But I wrote something and I want to share that first. Let me get it. It's kind of a longer one. Oh, well, actually it's about average. And if I can get through it without fumbling, it's not going to take that long. Okay. I did not do anything to stick these pages together. Oh, but I did write on the divider. That's nice. Okay. I had an interesting day. I woke up this morning and I thought that it was Tuesday. It's Wednesday. I thought it was Tuesday. And so that means I thought yesterday was Monday, but today's Wednesday. I don't know what happened to Tuesday. I kind of lost track of it. But anyway, today, Wednesday, I woke up at about, well, I mean, I woke up probably every hour after 4 a.m., but I got up actually at 9 because I thought my caregiver was coming. I guess that caregiver I had last for 2 visits is not coming back. That's okay. He lives kind of far away, so I had a feeling they placed him in his area, and he had somebody that was coming back, so he was out the last day he was here. He went running out because he was, I don't know. They said he was sick, when he was supposed to come back. Wait, how did I know that? I guess he told me he was sick. I don't know, but he went running out. Oh, that's right. I talked to the office this morning, their office. And she says, oh, yeah, you got a new one coming. And I'm like, oh okay. Let's see, that's 3 now in not even 3 weeks. Well, 3 new ones. 2 new ones. Nope, 3. Anyway, getting all sidetracked, taking forever. Sorry about that. So this one is called, again with the virtues. Virtues like forgiveness, gratitude, and patience. I don't know how I find myself opining on them, but as things seem to be spiraling out of control and long-standing institutions that were stalwart and reliable, along with the people managing operations. Oh, I guess I didn't finish that sentence. They're not so reliable and stalwart anymore. You can't rely on things. You used to be able to implicitly trust both of those agencies and competent staffs for the crimes of performing their jobs efficiently and with honesty. I guess that's why they've all been removed. I don't know. It's kind of weird. That was a bit of an aside. That last bit. Getting back to it. In a way, many, in fact... Oh, okay, I thought I had a paragraph there. Sorry. Let me try that again. So this is not going to be fast. Not as fast as I would like. For the crimes of performing their jobs efficiently and with honesty, in a way, many, in fact, the driver for this reaming out of agencies was to satisfy not a whim, but to an end. So, wow, that is a really badly constructed sentence. I really have to do that again, but for the crimes of performing their jobs efficiently with honesty, they lost them. That's not included in the text for some reason, so let me, hold on. So they lost them, those jobs. And the driver for this, not to satisfy a whim, although that could well have played into it, it's to an end because it aids, this is not part of the text, but to remove the people that know how to run the agencies properly, then all you're left with is people that don't know what they're doing and don't have people to ask how to do it right. So it's not going to run properly, and then they're not being staffed with enough people. That's deliberate. So it's like it's designed to cause failure. Back to the text. Supposedly to drain the swamp. That was the end, supposedly. The driver, the impetus for the activity of hollowing out, for the activity of hollowing out, of the hollowing out of pillar agencies that have upheld not only those agencies, but also their roles in U.S. government are tradition. Emulated globally once upon a time. It's hard to believe the person in question is not the uncouth, outwardly shameless oaf. God, what? Okay. I guess I should have read through this before I tried to come on here with it, but okay, so it's hard to believe the person in question is not the uncouth, outwardly shameless oaf. It's hard to believe they're not this person based on their activities that we've all seen. And yes, he's an oaf, but kind of wrote this bad. It's hard to believe that same person is doing, while he's doing those things, is doing it for good. His apparent okay. Let me try this one last time. It's hard to believe the person in question is not the uncouth, outwardly shameless oaf, is doing good in his apparent retribution spree. So that's a mess, but it's hard to believe the person that acts that way and is doing an apparent retribution spree. It's just hard to balance out that this person that's doing that is at the same time doing good. However, there's more to that. So I'll continue. He seems to exhibit and inhabit a vengeful, entitled, and ultimately undeserving self. How can it be that this loathsome, in my opinion, man can be doing anything one not someone he deems... Oh, jeez. How can it be that this loathsome, in my opinion, man is doing... Okay. How can it be that this loathsome, in my opinion, man is doing anything, doing anyone any good? Question mark. How can it be? Just as an aside, I want to say this again is that thing I've been talking about where you have thought something is a certain way, like your whole life probably, maybe even the whole life of your parents and grandparents. It is the way everyone thought it was, but it really isn't. Like what you are looking at is not what you have thought you were seeing, and that is going to be a recurring theme going forward in IRL, on this side of the screen, on your side of the screen. Know that Storm the Q people we're talking about? Uh, Even they got that wrong. Yes, there's going to be a storm, but it's not going to be this. All of the bad people are going to get gone thing. Like, that ain't right. That's completely a misunderstanding of everything that we've ever thought. Like I was just saying, you can't get away from it. Everything has been twisted and massaged into something that makes it appear to be what it is not. Back to the text. Okay, how can it be that this loathsome, in my opinion, man is doing anyone good because he stands to gain personally? How can he be confused with an agent for good? Exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point. Like, what? A lot of the government, majority their party, the impetus, the driver here for all of this madness, personified, hasn't appeared to be, hasn't lifted a finger to prevent what sure appears to be a series of decisions designed to ruin the lives of constituents. No, it sure doesn't look like he's lifting any fingers to help anybody. Oh my God, that... If he has a religion besides money and greed, it's... Don't let anybody else have anything. What are you talking about? No. That seems to be the tone. That's my understanding anyway. Where was I? I already read that. But I can see how he's the embodiment of destructive energy with his remember every slight as if it were a significant burn it all down governing strategy. It seems as though he surrounds himself with a cabinet of fellow aggrieved people whom there seems to be a ready outlet to plug them into that they aren't qualified to do. Because he emptied out all the people that knew what the hell they were doing in the positions. Remember, I was kind of trying to say that earlier. It might have come out kind of garbled, but that's what I meant. Where was I? They come with their own axes to grind, and dear leader says, have at it. Take out all of your ego, all of your aggressions. Plenty more people to crap on where they came from. That seems to be the leadership style. Yay! For them, I guess. For a minute, I'm sorry, but that kind of crap is just not going to fly with everybody else for long. Hold on a moment, I have to fix something. There it is. Because I have to do this again when I transcribe it. Yay! I'm so happy. Sorry. I thought I was done with that sentence. Oh, I guess I was. Did I say destructive? Emphasis on destructive leadership style. Yeah, I can see the advantages to the wrecking ball. Stoke all of the neg emotions technique. I can see how that would act to knock free weakened structural bits of excess and unsafe practices, revealing underlying corruption and ugliness. I suppose there was no other way. Crimes like fraud and institutional theft don't want to reveal themselves any more than whomever's name is on any kind of manifest linking them to Epstein wants that exposed. So you no more want your fraudulent crimes exposed than you would if your name were on that Epstein list, which this gang, boy, they're running from it hard. Like, it seems like they might be on the list or whatever the evidence is. Good Lord, why? I'm just sitting here. I'm not even doing anything. Sorry, it's a little distracting. All right. The process would never have even started being done. Oh, the process would have never started. Hold on a minute. That's a paragraph. The process would never have even started done by the book because the foundations of the treachery are laid deep and long ago. By which I mean, here's me deviating from the text again, but by which I mean it's so entrenched and so much a part of everything that it is everywhere, and we're just inured to it. Like, we don't even see all of the fakery around us. We have to be, like, educated or notice it somehow and, like, find our way to all of this really disappointing information. Where was I? Okay. Yeah, right. So the process would never happen if it were just done by the book. There have been deterrents to exposing the facts of a lot of what news we're fed. So it's kind of like fact-free or alternative facts. Like, that might actually be, oh my goodness, the news that we were getting. Definitely edited or redacted. Self-preservation, the threatened. Oh. Self-preservation threatened. Self-preservation threatened is dangerous. People know it and keep mum and stay useless even when it really would have counted to have spoken out and possibly made the ultimate sacrifice for having whistleblown. There seems to be good reason to conceal the inner workings of corporate and political systems. Their streams have infiltrated and infected all of the systems that stitch together, both openly and stealthily, run the country and the world. For the insatiable appetites of our leaders and fellows alike. Appetites that, when fed, act out evil intentions. Not to be cryptic, its crimes openly operated and protected from the most disgusting sausage making there is. Human suffering filled sausages. Oh my God, come on. Every sensation has like an edge or a point. What the hell? It is for these reasons that we held no way. Oh. That's not what it said. Let me try that again. Where'd it go? It is for these reasons that we need forgiveness. Without it, there's no way we get past and through these times. As horrible as we view them, as evil the acts they do are, it's part of the plan. By plan, I mean the long prophesied plan that was in the Christian Bible and probably all of the other of the world's major holy or major religions, their books is what I was going to say. But yeah, they probably have something similar happening. They all point to a dark period of suffering the world lives through and emerges from after the turmoil into the light. I mean, I think that's like a universal story, mythology, whatever you want to call it. Like, it exists in reality too. I think we're just not seeing the parallels because we're in it. But there have been just numerous repetitions of like what happened in Egypt and what happened in Greece and what happened in Rome. Like the similar stories, different names, same characters going through the same things throughout history over and over, as if we got to keep doing it until we get it right. Well, we're in, I think, one of those periods that we better get it right. I mean, that's more than my opinion. I mean, something was meant to be accomplished. I don't think we're just like endlessly repeating something for no reason. I think that we need to get it right. What's to be forgiven? All of the pain and cruelty the world has endured, delivered to us by the villains, those who profited on the suffering they've caused. For the withholding of resources intended for everyone's use and hoarded for the future dependence of today's wealthy corporate owners of our... wealthy corporate owners of our resources or processing of the same to be packaged and sold to us. That ain't right. Water is free. We, the rest of us, who don't believe in helping themselves to so much they leave little behind for everyone else, how, you may well ask, and the skepticism is understandable, but it is possible, because if you're not a taken, then you have the but it is possible, because if you're not that doesn't make sense. A taken. Oh, if you're not a taker, now it makes sense. But it is possible, because if you're not a taker, then you have the capacity to give. Forgiveness. When you have little to give, but will anyway because you have something to share. This is forgiving of you. And to share is another type of giving. Generosity. You have to have it in order to let others have some of what you've got to give. It feels good to give to someone who's got nothing, and you get to feel good in return. Worth it. It may not have been everyone's experience to have had a sweet grandmother or mom who sweetly answered a barrage of childish curiosity, questioning in every other word, gifting you with the example of patience. For all of the fussiness and tears, they and the other grown-ups accepted calmly and with soothing words, "I am grateful." When someone who wasn't so lucky, it may have made them bitter and angry, but when someone comes along and gives that deprived person the kind of tender loving care, it's transformative. Compassion Oh, compassionate. Oh, yeah. If you give someone that kind of tender, loving care, it's transformative. Compassionate, you might say. For me, compassion is so powerful, and it feels so wonderful to receive it in our times of need. It can heal wounds we had buried to wait in darkness like a seed underground in a drought. Give the soil water and sunlight, and that dormant seed grows and blossoms as they are meant to do, as are we. Like the seed, we, for our own different reasons, dry up and don't grow for a time. We both need dormant times for various reasons. Some seeds need the shock of fire needing the nutrients in the coating of char to summon growth. Much like a serious illness or near-death experience can fundamentally change us or the course of our lives. Substantial change brought about by a drastic shock to the system. So perhaps the oaf-in-chief and all of his opportunists and all of us, wow, what did I make for myself to try to say? Let me try that again. So perhaps the oaf-in-chief and all of his opportunist, unhappy, angry men and women are here to, through their own, oh, well, duh, that's, hold on. Wrong there. I can't even blame that on autocorrect. My brain uncorrected that. Let me try that again. So perhaps the oaf-in-chief and all of his opportunist, unhappy men and women are here to, through their own incompetence, provide the shocks and expose the systems being preyed upon, exposing themselves and their complicity in the corruption. It's inelegant, yet impressive. Finally getting a look at what the concealment has revealed. Doing it by the book, increments would have taken too long to work at the incredibly complex web of corruption. Only by revealing itself and its workings by itself have we been able to get an intimate look at what rot is where and engineered by whom. Let me take a drink. Just give me a moment. I'm nearing the end. This time the stabby's in the back of my head. The hell's going on? We now know, sorry, let me modulate that a little bit. We now know more, and there is more to come. And it's my opinion that by incorporating the virtues, generosity, forgiveness, and compassion into our operating systems, will we come through what is to come without becoming that wrongness which is revealed. Like, we don't want to expose it and punish it just to turn around and do the same damn thing. That was an aside. Where was I? We will have to be generous enough to forgive the offenders, because by doing the wrong, they are performing a service for us and for them. We, if we judged them, despite knowing why they've done what they did, like ICE and Doge. Had they not let us all see how they worked and how damaging they could be, we got in on the ground floor of what needs to be repaired from the bottom up. We can spare some love for bearing the mantle of what we hate. Because that's what they did. For the commission of crimes against man and nature. By doing so, I believe we are completing the closure of a long, incomplete circuit. A closure eons in the making. The road of forgiveness forking together. Thank you, Aunt. Oh, wait, am I done? What am I doing on time? Oh, not bad. So I pulled some cards and I just looked at them and I decided I'm not going to read those cards right now. But I have one I am going to read, and it is a Messages of Mary Magdalene, Declarations of Mary Magdalene card. And look at that. Look at all of that. It doesn't usually have that much to say, so I'm interested. I did look at it yesterday or earlier and got a kind of a feel for it, so let me go ahead and read it. Why can't I get good light? I am the resurrection of light in oneness. I am Mary, the Magdalene goddess. I am one with the creator source of all that is, as is eternally. I am feminine Christ, and I am that which walks the earth through every woman after me. May you be granted peace in my sacred heart when you remember your truth. So I feel like that's appropriate to what I was reading, because we haven't even found out the extent of what the Epstein files or suspicions represent, because it's become pretty clear that there are more than just suspicions that we're being kept from knowing about. Like, there was a congressperson from New Mexico, I believe, Angelita Grijalba, and she's the daughter of the previous holder of the position. It was her father, and she was duly elected, but the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, told all of the House to go home and don't do anything. Like, don't do your jobs, don't meet with your constituents, don't explain stuff, don't do your job, which, I'm not a Republican, but I would not be happy if my people were being told. It's a whole thing, though. Like, they being the Republicans, shut down the government again. And they just reopened it today. I think it was day 37. The longest one. The previous record holder was also in the previous Trump administration, so he likes to be destructive that way. So again, we get to see him speak, and there's history that's recorded of him, and it's not just from Michael Wolff lately. Going back, he and his family are just shady. Like, people knew, and somehow other people got hornswoggled into thinking that he was honest and good and religious. That is the one that gets me. He's not even not religious, but spiritual. He's, like I said, his religion is money and greed. I think that's what he worships, and then also self-serving. So that's Mirror, mirror on the wall. However, and Mike Johnson, I'm sorry, I guess he was there. First I heard of him was him on the news talking about being on an app with his son so they could narc on each other if one of them got a porno hard on or something weird. And I thought, why are you bringing that out into the public, and why are you humiliating your son and your family and your constituents? Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, that was just so strange to me. But strange times we seem to be in. Oh, but he's religious too. So always, like, I was raised Catholic by a generational Catholic family, and I went to the Catholic school for several years, and you know, it was just like everywhere. But you know what? And I'm laughing because I was going to say, you know what you didn't see in the Catholic Church? It may have been happening, but you didn't see it. They weren't talking about it. They were not in there talking about their wieners and their son's wieners in front of everybody. Like, what? They're like, the Catholics from his state, by the way. Half of my family is from Louisiana, so but yeah, that would not have been acceptable coming out of anybody's mouth with a religious anything attached to them. It's just so weird. And I left. Like, I certainly am not like, oh, I wouldn't call myself a Catholic still. Like, I'm definitely not a practicing Catholic, which even in my lifetime, that's pretty much amounted to like going to church, and then there was a lady at the church that was old that would like bring flowers, and I think they used to have nuns to do that, and I don't know. I just went to the church when the school made me go and when the grown-ups made me go. I'm thinking with my child mind right now, but I got older and we just like, it just wasn't a part of my life. I didn't go to the school, like I wasn't part of the community, and I found other things to do that the church would have frowned upon in a lot of areas. So, but that stuff stays with you, though. Especially, like, I don't know if you understand what it's like to go to a Catholic school, because it's church 6 days a week. You go 5 days when you're at school, and then also on Sunday, and if you're really young, you go to Sunday school and church. That's a lot of church when you're a little kid, when you're just, they say you're a sponge, so a lot gets stuffed in there. Of course, that was a long time ago. I'm not saying I remember all of everything perfectly, but certain things like really stuck because you're basically sitting there getting read stories for the whole time. And I think, I don't know, it just occurred to me, I don't know if you know this, but in church you're supposed to like get out of your seat and kneel, and then sometimes you stand up, and there's a lot of activity. But I just realized they might have you do that because they are sitting there reading you stories, and you know, maybe the priest, or sometimes there's other people that talk. I'm not sure of everyone's title, but you can easily fall asleep. It smells like incense. It's usually warm in there. There's a lot of other people breathing and sitting still. It's just conducive to sleepy when you're a kid, and also when you're an adult. So maybe that's why they have you getting up and down so much. I don't know. Could be, though. They could be that calculated. But anyway, this is talking about having compassion and patience, and even finding love in your heart for people that act and say and they do horrible things. Like the president right now, Trump, is just never doesn't have something terrible to say about people. Like always has an insult right to hand. He's not like people have died and he's made like no mention of it. Dick Cheney, who was a vice president of George W. Bush, and before that he was in the government. He was in like CIA, I think, and I don't know what else. He was a government guy, like I guess you would call a hack these days or those days or whatever. But he was not. He wasn't liked by the Democrats, that's for sure. And he would say terrible things and laugh because it would horrify the left, and call himself Darth Vader, which would piss off this lefty. Like, you're just evil yourself. You don't bring Darth Vader into it. Get off of my Star Wars. Get off of my Star Wars. But when Trump came along, he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Bro, you can't do that. I guess he mellowed in his old age. And he's always old as far as I knew. Hold on. The point is, what the Christ calls for, not the church, not the Bible specifically, but what the Christ calls for is to love them anyway, no matter how terrible they are. The best example I can give you is the forgiving mother of the serial killer, or the serial killer victim, I'm sorry. When they can forgive someone that has done horrible things to their child and even build a relationship with that person, my goodness, you should get the sainthood. But what the Christ would tell you is you don't need all of that. You don't even need the sainthood, because you can just do that. You can just do it. Like, it doesn't need all kinds of getting up and down and kneeling and assuming the position. Show it. Don't say it. That's more Christ-like, I think. There's a lot of people out there, and I think this is a mistake to be out there Christianing it up and, I don't know, wearing a cross around your neck and claiming to be this Christian. And the way they say it, like, I don't think I've heard anyone claim to be devout about themselves or anybody else even, because I don't think any of them, like, really mean it. I think it's performative. With some exceptions. I'm sure there are completely sincere people out there, and there's the ones that are not out there running their mouths. Their names are not going to come immediately to mind because they're doing their job. They're not out there trying to become clickbait or whatever. Sorry, getting sidetracked, but even for that is something else that, like, let it go, there was a time when there was no internet. Imagine that. There was no social media. You just met people head on, face to face, IRL. So that's still the case, by the way. Just because those things exist doesn't mean you have to forget what was the way it was before, because with or without the devices, you still got to be the same way with people. Like, doesn't matter how many devices you got. It doesn't change the fact that you are a human person, or you're a person dealing with another person. And no one's better than the other person, regardless of how much money or what their station is. So there. But sorry. Anyway, candles making me cough. Hold on. All right. So, I think that also sort of comports with what this card has said, because without all of the devices, without all of the things in the way, all of the things that we put on, all of the performative faces and appearances that we make and put on, those just are added stuff, like more steps, more complications. And when you keep it simple, you get rid of all of the stuff you don't need, like all of the stuff that isn't serving you. That's a common term you'll hear in the New Age circles. Let it go. But truly, like, you don't have to divulge yourself of every possession. You have to divulge yourself of your attachment to the possessions and the attaching a importance to the attachments. Like, my God, you have a shoe with a label name or a suitcase, and that becomes more important than living, breathing stuff in your life. That's crazy. And also, it kind of just gets in the way of what's at the root of everything. And, you know, what do we got? We got each other and interacting with each other, and we can be loving toward each other and stop making so many conditions to put in between us being loving to each other and having love for each other. And it doesn't, I mean, I don't know what people think that all means. Like, you don't have to, like, wander around behind people worshiping them and, you know, going through all kinds of commotion. It's just, like, be a decent human being. And if you don't want people to treat you like crap, then maybe don't do it to them, and they won't feel like they need to do, like, oh, that must be what they like, I'll just do it back. No, like, keep it simple. When we take away all of the extra stuff, the extraneous, the conditions, that is, I think, us at our truest essence. But we've just gotten really far away from it and unfamiliar with it. So the times, however, are giving us plenty of opportunities to find our way back. Thank you and good night. Oh, wrong one.